Donald Trump faces a trial in the Senate after the House of Representatives voted in favour of triggering the next stage of impeachment. Joining me now live from Washington is CNN reporter Whitney Wild. Whitney, thank you so much for your time this morning. Was this vote at all a surprise?
Not at all. This is a Democratic-controlled House. They are the majority here. So to see that this vote fell out mostly along party lines was not a surprise at all.
Donald Trump now facing trial. What are the next stages?
So the next steps are for the House managers, 7 House managers, House Democrats, to physically walk the charges over to the Senate and then effectively read them aloud to senators who will be sitting actually in the chamber, as well as the Chief Justice. So that's one of those procedural moments that will happen over the next, possibly tonight, very likely tomorrow, because the Senate has indicated that they are not going to receive the charges tonight, so very likely we will see that tomorrow. Then after that, Mitch McConnell says that he expects that this trial will ramp up, really begin in earnest January 21st. Again, the entire Senate will be sitting in for that. They've gotten guidance that they are not to bring any outside materials that are not directly related to this trial into the chamber. No phones, no books. This is very strict, very solemn as this trial plays out, with Chief Justice John Roberts presiding over all of it.
And how long is this trial expected to last for?
The timeline is one of those things that remains ambiguous. So back when this was all going on, in the early stages, we had heard that the trial could last between 6 and 8 weeks. That remains to be seen. This presents a challenge for 3 senators who are on the campaign trail right now: Bernie Sanders, Amy Klobuchar, and Elizabeth Warren, all 3 Democrats running for president, all 3 Democrats who will be pulled off the campaign trail for an unknown amount of time to be here in Washington for what could be a 6 days a week trial for an unknown amount of weeks.
Has there been any response today by Donald Trump?
Well, Donald Trump continues to call this a con job by the do-nothing Democrats. The official word from the White House is a continued insistence that he did nothing wrong.
And will it at all affect his chances of re-election this year?
You know, it's hard to say. The data for so long has shown that Americans are really split on the impeachment, whether or not they think he should be impeached and removed from office. So the data really hasn't changed that much over the last several weeks, since the very beginning of the revelation here that kicked off all of this impeachment proceeding. So the Trump campaign, though, for their part, say that this impeachment proceeding has actually helped them ramp up their fundraising. So whether or not it helps his chances in 2020, we'll have to wait for more polling to come out closer to that actual date of election in November.
What's been the reaction to this by the general public? You know, we're covering it here in Australia, but how has it been actually received in the country itself?
Again, the data shows that Americans are largely split on whether or not they think that impeachment is the right move, if they think that he should be impeached and removed from office. And that data hasn't really changed much over the last several weeks and really, I guess, 3 months now, 3.5 months since the House announced that they would be moving forward with an impeachment proceeding.
Well, we'll certainly be watching this one very closely. CNN reporter Whitney Wild, thank you so much for your time.